Okay, good afternoon. As you see, we're not having an info session from the regular office, but we're actually all working from home because at Ghent University there was yesterday the advice related to the coronavirus. So where possible, actually to work from home. Afternoon. I'm struggling a bit with technicalities still. I will put this on there. So I'm working with two computers, that's why it's quite complicated. So the aim of today is that we just give you via webinar a few updates, let's say, on the current situation, where you can find information, what to do. And that's based on a board meeting, an urgent board meeting we had yesterday afternoon, where all the coordinators of the program were involved in. And you all received yesterday already some emails, but we thought it's not bad also to have this webinar. And you can also actually look at the YouTube channel. There is a chat box, and we will use that chat box actually to post questions after I've gone through a few slides. So use the chat box. Don't send emails right now because so Micheline and Louisa are also following, and so the aim is that we answer then questions together, let's say, and try to help you out where possible. Note that for thesis supervisors, for example, and professional practice supervisors, we have not sent out a message yet to them. So we will await, the kind of questions that also come in, for example, to make sure that we don't have to spam them with information from the program, and that we, when we send the message, for example, that we're sure that we're covering everything. Okay, I will now switch to a short presentation I prepared. Yep, and you should know, in theory, have a view of a presentation. I hope that's the fact. Anyway, so the aim is actually, first of all, some general remarks. First, what we did on the website, and it's something we will be updating as soon as new information comes in, is that if you just browse to IMBRSea.eu, you will see that on the top of the website there is a block added where per university you can actually immediately find the pages with information regarding the virus and also regarding the local situation. The only problem is that we noticed that a lot of these pages are in the current and the local language, which is quite frustrating, but I try to use then at least, let's say, things like Google Translate in order to get it in the correct language. But I think also very important is that you can also ask, of course, for information with the local coordinators. So you have the contacts of those local coordinators. So they are actually the first point of access for any kinds of questions and things that are unclear. Note that for non-Europeans this may sound somehow strange, but at the European level, currently there's no kind of streamlined action plan. That's also why different countries, different regions react in different ways to the current situation. So that's a bit just as a general first remark. Second thing is something we decided yesterday, is that we would like to have that everyone, really everyone, completes the whereabouts. So you received an email about this, There is also on the website, the link is displayed there. So make sure you really enter at any time, your information where you are and where we can reach everyone. This is also because different international relations offices at the different universities want to know which students are actually at their universities or at the region, for example, just to make sure, for example, in case we have to reach you, that we can reach you. So far we received 105 responses. We should get to 180. So I really would like to urge you, everyone, to really complete the form. And every time you move, very important, you just repeat completing this form, so that we have in this way kind of a track record of where you're moving to. We expect also in the coming days that there will be a question coming in from Europe, from the European Commission, where they will where they want to know, for example, where every student in the program is. So really, we really want you to complete this, and we ask you to encourage also your colleagues and to do this, so we can at least provide the correct information to the different groups. I know that questions will come in on this annual symposium, summer schools. What will happen with this? Actually, we don't know. So far, we just organized these because these events are still like 3 to 5 months from now. And as we don't know how the whole situation will evolve, actually, we also didn't decide on any deviations from the original plans in this. So the dates are still there. We have our travel tickets to Portugal still planned, for example, for the annual symposium. So we're still putting together an agenda for the annual symposium. So there's no change in this, and we hope that by then, for example, a number of elements will have calmed down, and that we can organize these events like we planned them. Note that in case, of course, that things are changing and that these events become impossible, we will of course sit together again with the whole board and then make decisions just to make sure that we can get to the best situation possible. Yeah. Some general remarks for the first year students then. So current courses that you're following at different universities, I think there it's quite simple. You just follow the local regulations and the local adaptations. So just to give an example, at Ancona, for example, all education is taking place at distance. In France, courses are still going on, unless there's a big change since yesterday afternoon. In Ghent, for example, there was yesterday the decision to switch from kind of education and where you're in classrooms together to an alternative, because we have to make sure that if we still teach, for example, there should be a 1 meter distance between every person. And let's say for a number of practicals, for example, this is not possible. So over the weekend and the coming days, for example, the local team in Ghent that is doing the experimental ecology course is working out an alternative plan for the experiments that were planned next week. So follow the local regulations, very important. We know that professional practices are starting very soon. And of course, this is a very difficult issue because we actually don't know what will go on and how things will be evolving. Now, there's two advices. First of all, I think the advice, if possible, for example, please stay in touch with your current topic, because just changing everyone is for the moment simply not doable because, first of all, we don't have enough offer and also we don't actually know where there is still a safe place, let's call it like that, where everyone will be able to carry out his or her professional practice. Note that in many situations, probably you will be able to carry out your professional practice, but potentially with a delay in time. And that's also what we decided yesterday is during the board meeting, is that we will allow for shifting in the timing. So in theory, you have to do 6 weeks of professional practice. So that means that in theory, you can actually start until the beginning of May, and then you still have the possibility to finish your professional practice. In case we see, for example, that we have to add also an extension to this, for example, that you could do potentially your topic in June, July even, for example. I think we will add, when we have more information about the whole situation, this will be also a potential alternative. Also stay in contact with your supervisors. For some of you, for example, you will already be in a certain country, for example, and you will be able to stay, for example, in that country for doing a professional practice. Then we don't see, for example, in the majority of cases why this would be problematic. So in case you can still continue, for example, with your original plan, the advice would be, okay, continue with your original plan. Note that yesterday, however, we also decided to set up a working group. A working group where we will in the coming 2 weeks work out an alternative, a potential alternative for in the case the professional practice cannot happen as it was already planned. The whole point on that is I cannot give, or we cannot give more detailed information right now, simply because we don't have that alternative ready yet. So the things we're thinking was an online or a kind of a group work where you kind of interact based on literature, based on other elements. For example, there's enough tools nowadays via internet, via IT, for example, where you can do a number of things, of course. No, that alternative plan, we will on the 25th of March, which is in 2 weeks' time. The idea is to give you, Dan, an update and to give you, Dan, correct information on how this will look like. Keep in mind that the professional practice is 12 ECTS, which is a lot. It's a big course. So it's not that something that you just simply replace by anything you can think of. So it's quite a substantial thing. So we have also to make sure that we come up with an alternative that is still in line with the learning outcomes of the professional practice. We also don't want, for example, to shift the professional practice to the second year, because then you come in situations that people will not be able even to graduate within the 2 years' time that is foreseen. So that's maybe important on this element. Second year students, quite easy, because you're busy with your thesis work. So I think stay in touch with your supervisor and also follow the local regulations at the institute where you're carrying out your thesis, and also complete the whereabouts. So where are you, even that it's obvious that you're working on your thesis in country X or Y and institute A or B, for example, but still, even when you assume us to know where you are, for example, still complete and confirm that where we can reach you and what you're currently doing. So that's the whole tricky situation for us, and I hope you can understand this, is that we also are just able to get the information, the same information as what you find on the internet, and that we just try to find ways to make sure that your study program can still be completed under the current conditions. So one of the things we will do is keep you updated on a regular basis. So as soon as information comes in that is relevant for you, that's the idea, to update you on this. If there's no information coming in on certain situations, for example, then we also don't see the point of just asking again. In case you have questions, to the coordination office, the phones of the coordination office have been connected to a personal phone. So even when we're not in the office, for example, during working hours, then you can still reach us on the regular phone number, and you will be just transmitted to a private phone number. Keep in mind that we will just be working as far as possible, of course, during the local working hours. So that means between 9 and 5 that you can reach us on the regular phone. However, my cell phone number that you have received also at the start of the academic year, and that you can use as an emergency for emergency cases, will be also on during nights and weekends. But please only use it, let's say, when you really get into an urgent situation where there is no alternative way out, and where you think that by calling me, for example, there is potentially an alternative, or we can come to a solution. Okay, so that's it. Concerning general information we can provide you. So what I will do now is actually, I would like to switch to the chat box, for example, where, in case, for example, you have questions, you can post them via the chat. So we will Stay online until at least 12:30, for example. So if you have questions, feel free to post them now. And yeah, for the next 20 minutes, for example, at least you will be able to post your questions. Okay. I see a first question is coming in from Carmela. In the case of Ghent, until when we are not supposed to have classes, being realistic, are we going to have classes in the following 2 weeks? I think most of the answers that we will provide to these questions will be based on, as far as we know. So, and that's a bit the point here. So as far as we know, so the advice that we got from our rectorate is that by Sunday evening, coming Sunday evening, all teachers have to send a plan on how the courses will be organized, to all the students for the coming 2 weeks. So for the coming 2 weeks, what you will receive from probably from Marlene de Troch and Seal Wellens, for example, is an update on how locally there will be an alternative for the classes. So I don't know in person, for example, whether you will still be expected to actually go to the university by Sunday evening at the latest. You have to find. You will have news on what is expected in the coming weeks. There's another important question from Lise. For students who have had to find alternative housing, it has made keeping up with classwork a little more difficult, even though not everyone has easy access to Wi-Fi and online classes. I think in this situation, I think all universities will be as far as possible flexible on the organization of the local teaching. So there the point is, I think that maybe it's good to have a spokesperson per university if you don't have this yet, and that you inform your local teachers about the situation. So that's a clear point, so that you follow this up with local things. Also here in Ghent, for example, if people have trouble, for example, for following in case we switch to a fully online course, I'm also sure that people will be flexible and give more extensions in time, etc., etc. So we just want to make sure, and that's a clear point that we want to make, is that actually the whole crisis is not impacting your potential chances to finish the master program. Question from Jorge Moreno. Hi Tim, hi everyone. A professional practice gets cancelled due to the COVID-19 situation. It won't be possible by any chance to look for a professional practice topic outside the master program. The point is for professional practices is that during the professional practice, as I explained also during the webinar like 2 weeks ago, is that during that period you fall under kind of an insurance scheme that is related to the one for working, regular working. The point is that we had to announce already where everybody is going to. There has to be risk assessments completed, contracts, etc., etc. So that's why also just going for professional practices outside the current matrix topics is not possible. Currently not possible. So we will be investigating, whether this would be a potential alternative, but currently also with the insurance companies, we have to just check whether you will be insured, and we will not allow you to do a professional practice outside of the catalog in case you're not insured. And I think that's a critical point, because if something happens in the end, it's we who are responsible for you, and if you're not insured, you're simply not allowed to do a professional practice topic. As soon as we have an update on that, if we find an alternative plan, for example, then we will inform you about this. But currently, the point is very simple. Not taking, even if it's discussed with local coordinators. Yesterday during the meeting, we actually said that this will not be possible. I think it will be possible to postpone the dates for assignments, Lise, because I see this as one of the questions. Indeed, Lisa, as you mentioned, this should be discussed with the local coordinators. Then a question from Irene de Prado. Can Uganda students go home, or should we wait if the problem gets better? I don't know. If you just look at the virus from a scientific point of view, actually moving around is not the best idea. So the whole idea and the whole point in order to be safe is stay where you are. Even going home, for example, the chance might be that if you can go home still, for example, but we leave that up to you. And as I mentioned, Sunday evening at the latest, you will get an update by the teachers of the course, on what is whether you still will be expected to do some number of things in a university setting, or in case everything will be shifted to an online alternative. Fiona, in case of the Ancona, the environment track would have had multiple practical classes, such as boat trip, field trip. Do you know anything about an alternative practical class where we, and then I can't read what is coming up, where we will be able to acquire the same skills? We still plan the summer school, as you know, where there is, boat trips, field trips, all these kind of things. But it's remaining fully the responsibility of Ancona and the situation there in order to come up with alternative plans. So far, I'm not in the power to kind of tell the people in Ancona that they have to set up alternative practical classes. Simply, for the moment being, most of the universities in the consortium even are kind of discouraging this kind of things right now. I think we have to await the situation, and then see, for example, whether we have to indeed check whether alternatives can be found. But I think you also understand, and I hope you understand, that we cannot just neglect what is put on us from the different ministries of health, for example. Cristina Lopez, do we need to relay the information from the coordination office, like the emails from the past day, to supervisors and local teachers, or will you be keeping them up to date? Good question. I think, first of all, when you talk about local teachers, the local coordinators, have the role to make sure that they are in touch with the different local teachers. The local coordinators. So if you're in Ancona or you're in French, for example, for Ancona, Carlo Serrano is the one that is responsible to make sure the information, the program-related information, goes on. When we talk about supervisors of thesis and professional practice, after this meeting today, because we wanted to wait, the information that is coming also and the questions that are coming up, we will send to every supervisor also an email where we inform them, on what the current situation is, and also inform them, for example, on exactly the same information as what you received, for example, and so they know that there is kind of something, that we're doing something as a program. And one of the things that we want to kind of reassure them is that they have to make sure, and we know there is some situation with some professional practice supervisors, for example, we want to make sure, for example, that also from a financial point of view, you're as low as possible punished. So, for example, if certain organizations asked already for money from you, we also want to kind of put in this email that they should pay you back. They don't have the right just to charge you for actually not doing anything. So that's something we will also inform them about. A question then from Laurie Chapuis. In the case professional practice is cancelled, is it possible to move it on this summer? For the moment, we did not take a decision on this, because first we also want to work out an alternative plan. So in 2 weeks' time, so the 25th of March, we will come up with alternative plans, okay, on to actually tell you, okay, will be shifted in time or etc., etc. Because you have to keep in mind, just shifting in time might be a potential solution, but you also have to make sure that that the supervisors are okay with this. That's the first thing. And secondly, also that we find practical arrangements to make sure the follow-up of your professional practice and the evaluation of your professional practice is done in a proper way. Meaning we have to have staff during the summer breaks, for example, that is able to do this follow-up. So for the moment, we stick in the situation as it is, but the 25th of March, in 2 weeks' time, we come up then with alternative plans, also in line of what the situation is at that time. Yeah. For thesis students that are expected to conduct mostly field lab work in March and April, if the university closes, will these logistical issues have a negative impact for our defense? For thesis students, I think important is that you follow the local regulations. So if they close the university or the lab, for example, yeah, and you cannot carry out field work due to that reason, for example, or lab work, yeah, then this is the case. Yeah, the point what you should do there is discuss also with your supervisor, yeah, that you have to finish your thesis, and we're not able to extend the academic year. Yeah, so you have to finish your thesis by the end of the academic year, meaning at latest you have to submit your thesis, a thesis, the 5th of August. So it can be in many cases that you have potentially to shift, yeah, your current work plan to a more alternative work plan. So meaning potentially more literature-based things, for example. Also, if things are closing down, yeah, connect with your supervisor and, for example, spend more time on writing up introductions, materials of methods, for example, and think of plan Bs. Yeah, I think very important there, think of plan Bs. But of course, yeah, you will not be punished on the fact of, for example, that you have slightly altered your original topic due to the current situation. I think this should be, and also, we will be aware, that we will be aware, for example, that the thesis can be potentially more literature-based than, for example, the original plan. Yeah. In case the institution we're doing a master thesis closes and we still have to not done some experiments, what should we do? Talk to your supervisors, as I mentioned already, yeah, and make sure you design plans B there. Yeah, supervisors, I think, are aware that this is not nothing you can do on, but really, yeah, your health and respecting the situations, the local situations, is more important than some experiments. Yeah, some experiments, let's say whether you did a third replica of a certain experiment, for example, or not, this will not have any impact on the final thesis. Of course, it will have an impact on what you write there, but it should not have an impact on the final evaluation of your thesis. Then a question from Marike. Hi Tim, for those who have their professional practice in Italy, as we were asked to apply for 2 new PP, what about it now? Will we have an answer, or should we still prioritize on our initial professional practice in Italy? Yeah, we're aware that 2 weeks ago, when the situation was not like it is now, yeah, we actually informed that the students that had a professional practice in Italy, that they could shift potentially to another topic. Yeah. In case there is a confirmation that you can do that other topic, and in case, for example, that things are going like they should, for example, and you can get there, yeah, this might indeed be an alternative. But as I mentioned already before, we're going to also the supervisors of professional practices and thesis, for example, on our current strategy in the master program. So only then we will know whether the choices you have made will indeed be feasible or not. Yeah, and again, yeah, you have until beginning of May to start that professional practice period. And again, the 25th of March, we will come up with more information on alternative plans. Yeah. So that's a bit the current situation. And a question from Hall. If we get sick, should we inform IMBRSea coordination? Yes. I would say if you get sick, yes, please inform us about this, but you can inform us, but maybe more important is that you also inform immediately the local supervisor. Yeah, the local supervisor is the one that the local supervisor of your thesis, for example, or in case of if you stay at a certain university, for example, the local coordinator should be informed so he can update you on what you should do in case you don't know. On most of the websites that are also on the IMBRSea website, the links, the local websites, for example, there is clear guidelines on what you should do in case you feel sick, for example, or so please check this. Also check locally, for example, with your local supervisors so that you know what to do in case of emergency situations. Yeah. Then a question from Irene De Prado. What is your plan B if uni closes while we do the professional practice? We don't know yet because we are now designing a plan B, and then we will see, let's say, if things are coming up, okay, how to react on this. So it's only yesterday that we got the news from different universities that things are closing and that things will not be able to carry it out. So that's also why we react right now. And as soon as we have plans B, for example, we will inform you. And we will inform you either via another webinar like this one, because I see quite a lot of people are watching us, and then the chatting goes quite well. Or either via email. So please check your IMBRSea emails as well, because we send messages. And it's not just messages to spam you, but really messages to inform you about current situations. Also, this webinar will be online. So if you were not able to follow it, for example, or your colleagues were not able to follow it, they will be able to go through it at a later stage as well. Yeah. Okay, what should we do if we get stuck in a quarantine situation, for example, when going to the symposium? If you're in a quarantine situation, you have to respect that quarantine situation, and that's again a matter of power, where you cannot do anything on it, for example. But you have to go through that quarantine situation, and I think in case you are in such a situation, we will follow up with you and see what we can do as a program in this matter. So if you're in a quarantine situation, I think it's also obvious that this will not have an impact on your performance. Let's just hope that by the annual symposium that a number of things have really calmed down, and that we can, as far as possible, carry out the annual symposium as we planned it. So Christina, I'm sorry, but for the moment we cannot give you more clear information than that. You're welcome. I see that no more questions are coming in. I will just post this maybe also on the chat anymore. I see no more questions are coming in, so I suggest we can close this meeting here. So to kind of wrap up, Make sure you fill in the whereabouts. Yeah. Don't panic. Yeah. Follow local regulations. That's the third point. And fourth point, just make sure you're stay healthy if as far as possible, for example, and take on the advices that are given. And let's say if you're together in certain situations, take care also of each other as far as possible. And we just hope that we still will be able to meet you in a few months' time in Portugal. But we'll see. So if we have more information that comes in from our side, we will inform you. We will also check, for example, whether we will do, for example, in a week time, also again, a short update webinar, for example, to answer potential questions. But things related to the professional practice, for example, their alternative plans will be presented from the 25th of March onwards. So have a nice day. If you can go outside, enjoy some outside time as well. And have a good afternoon. Thank you. Bye-bye.